Well, a very good afternoon and welcome from Sydney Harbour for the 9th and final heat of this year's Australian 18-foot skiffs championship. I'm Peter Shipway, and along with Andrew Buckland and James Bury, we'll be bringing this race to you. It's quite a calm Sydney Harbour. We've got a light southeasterly breeze. It's a full course today. Somewhat overcast, but I think we're going to see a very exciting race. It's a race in two, really, between Tech 2 and Smeg. No other boat can win this championship. Those two boats have really dominated this 8-race series so far. Tech 2 winning 5 races and Smeg 2. The only other boat to get a look in was the Oak Four Pines, who won a solitary race. On points with a drop, which you're allowed to drop, Tech 2 leads by 2 points over Smeg. So it'll be fought out between those two 18-foot skiffs. They've had some fabulous racing this year. Tech 2, the defending champions, were absolutely brilliant last week in a strong southerly breeze, the long course. They showed blistering speed and crew work, and they came out a winner over Smeg, who had a couple of fumbles along the way. But nonetheless, it's Smeg and Tech 2 today that will fight it out for this year's championship. We'll bring in Andrew Buckland now to give us an overview of the weather, and we're on the southeasterly course, as I said, and we're about probably 10 minutes away from the start. So good afternoon to you, Andrew.
Oh, thanks, Pete, and good to be here with you. Sydney Harbour throwing a few challenges today. Nice gradient southeasterly, driven by a low pressure cell located about 400 miles northeast and developing, and so we're expecting there'll be volatility. Quite cool wind over warm water, and water temperature probably 23, 24, surface water temperature here. So we're expecting not too much change, but spiky, 8 to 14 probably will cover it, and plus or minus 15. So tough day tactically for the crews. Out of the start, first man to find a puff with wind, off he shall go. First beat from where we are in Taylor Bay up to a laid mark up behind to the south of Shark Island, with usually the option to go either side, with in this direction typically the right hand side paying. Pete, how are we going?
Okay, well, it's a little early for me to make my decision, but we'll bring I'll tell you halfway up the beat, but
yeah, good on you.
I'll bring in James Bury. We've first time on the southeasterly course for a while. James, run us through the course.
Okay, Pete. Yeah, we obviously, Bucko was alluding to, start down here in Taylors, up to Rose Bay, around the Lade Mark, down to Robinson Point, just past the zoo, back up to Clark Island, down to Chowder, then back up into Rose Bay, back down into Chowder, and then do the whole big lap again, back up into Rose Bay, Robinson Point, then we finish at the off Double Bay there.
So first lap, a figure 8, which is a bit unusual in the world of yacht racing, but it fits the
perfectly
wonderful
for where we are.
Geographic confines of Sydney Harbour.
Absolutely.
It's all good. And Pete, you've reminded me the tide is not going to be a big factor today. Very weak flood, so tide moderately opposed to the wind direction, but I think only about a 0.4 of a metre or 0.5 of a metre rise and fall. But flood all day. Weak. Some effect, particularly over near Nielsen Park, but not a big deal.
Okay, we're just watching Tech 2. Those boys, as I mentioned earlier, have really been outstanding the whole championship. And today's streaming brought to you by Sail Media, and the race sponsor today is Shaw and Partners. They've got a boat out there who's been performing pretty well at the moment. Shaw and Partners is 4th on the point score, and they've been there or thereabouts in a few of the races, and they've been improving each week, I think, as the series has gone on. But it's a very strange day. There's big clouds far away in the south, the southeast. The breeze is up and down. It's going to be a very, very tricky day. We're in Taylor Bay, as Andrew said, just waiting to start. A few of the boats just drifting along there. There's Tech 2 and there's Noakes Sailing. They're 3rd on the point score. They've been very consistent. Sean Langman and Ed Powis and Josh Proveski. They've been there or thereabouts all series.
And they've been working pretty hard, you know, between the weekend races, and you know, them and Smeg have both improved substantially over the last 4 or 5 weeks since Christmas, and we're looking forward to a good performance for them. Pete, just looking at it now, and we did talk about a little bit before the start, but it looks like a day when there's discretion about how much sail area each boat uses. So there are some bigger sails out here, the likes of Four Pines, Finport, Yandu,
The Bird and Bear.
The Bird and Bear, yep. Whereas Tech 2 perhaps slightly more conservative amount of sail area. And I guess my feeling is that it'll be slightly advantaged Smeg here today, but probably I think it'll be difficult for Smeg to defeat Tech 2 for the title.
Yes, well, as it stands at the moment, Tech 2 with a drop is on 11 points, Smeg on 13, then a huge gap to Noakes Sailing on 30, Shaw and Partners 37, Finport 38, the winning group 39, Yandu 43, Andu 53, the Oak Four Pines 58, Kitchen Maker on 70, Vintech 77, Birkenhead Points 78, Appliances Online 83, Noakes Blue 84, Lazarus Partners 95, Ilvy 103, Rag and Famish 114, and the Bird and Bear 122. So Smeg is 2 points adrift of Tech 2. They've got to beat them really by 3 points, but stay in the top 3 really to get the job done. And it's a big ask, as you said, because of the consistency of Tech 2. We saw them last week in stronger breezes on the small rig. They were buried pretty much at the first mark and then blistering downwind with superb boat speed and crew handling. Got themselves back into the lead. Then they dropped back a little bit on the breeze, but then downwind they were dominant again, and just, as I said, Smeg just ran into a few little errors towards the end, and Tech 2 climbed all over the top of them. But we're still waiting starting orders here in Taylor Bay. The breeze up and down, it's no more than 8 knots at the moment. So, boys, here's the question. Which side of the island do we go? Jimmy, to you.
Straight under the bus, thanks, Pete. Maybe the right, I think. Depending on where this top mark is, I've been looking up there, I can't find it, but I think, you know, watching what the boat's been doing, I think the right looks probably, to me, favoured up there at the moment.
Andrew?
Yeah, I'm on the right too, Pete. There just tends to be more breeze in the funnel on the right-hand side between Point Piper and Shark than on the other side, where the hill's bigger and the diffusion from the land friction tends to be greater.
Well, I'm going left. I've got no choice. I'm going to go left and hard left.
And you know what's going to happen now. They're all left will win again. Pete's broken the curse.
Well, they normally lay the weather mark, so you've got an option. They lay it right into Rose Bay, but as Jimmy was saying, we can't actually see. It's a fair way up, so it's a long beat. Just watching the Royal Oak Four Pines there. He's the only other boat that's got into the first place in these 8 race series.
He's had a few wobbles too, but I think, you know, confidence-wise, and they won that race pretty convincingly, Pete, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was over a short course, and they held their nerve. And they did very well. So we've seen a real mixture of conditions. We've had strong southerly last week. A few weeks ago, we had a good nor'easter, a good summer nor'easter, and we've had a fair mixture of conditions. So everyone has had their day, really, as far as weather's concerned. It's not been super light every day. There's had some good breezes, some light breezes. So we're going to get a very worthy champion for this year's Australian title. Next week, oh, here we go. We've got signals then, 5 minutes to go. Next week is final heat of a championship, and then the week after, 2 weeks, this weekend, the JJs start on the Harbour 7-race series. And unfortunately, none of our friends from New Zealand will be racing because of COVID restrictions. So, Andrew, what are we seeing with 5 minutes? Less, 4.5 to go.
Yeah, breeze just lifted off down where we are at the leeward shore. And it tends to do that a bit here. You know, we're only about 200 metres away from a pretty steep wooded hillside. so the wind doesn't, it starts to lift off quite a long way out, and that's what we're seeing right now. But more breeze on the right, looking upwind at the moment. Jimmy, you happy with that?
I'm happy with that, Bucko. We've got to stick strong on the right.
Okay, it's all good.
The other thing we've got next Friday night, we've got all the legends are coming back. So that'll be a bit of fun.
Okay, that's 4 minutes. Yeah, the legends. A lot of legends have raced 18-footers, and they're out for, I think, three races next Friday afternoon.
I know Whitty was chafing at the bit for one race. His comment, but I think it'll be good fun.
It's always good fun. But Pete, just remember, the older we get, the better we were. Okay?
That's right.
The older we get,
it's all about the drink afterwards, the debrief.
One beer. So just on the camera boat now, as Pete said, we're near the committee boat. A little puff from the right. Direction pretty stable, but the velocity very up and down. A little bit of 10 knots. And, we've seen on the way down here, we've seen a couple of spiky bits that might have been 12 or a little more. But, big advantage to the guy that can get to the side from which the first puff comes. Less important about the direction and more important about the velocity.
Those blokes there on screen, Burke and Ed, they've been improving rapidly.
They've been getting better quite quickly as well.
Timmy, Alex and Felix.
So 2:40 to go, the final heat. And the start line, Andrew, what are you seeing here on the start line?
They've been fiddling with that, and that now looks slightly pin biased. So I think, though, it may still pay to be starting at the boat clean, tack away.
And going right quickly.
Yeah, going right pretty quickly. Not too far right, but just to get out of the land influence in the bay here, Pete. But perhaps with where that pin is, you might go, well, that's far enough advance. But it'll be a big fight for the pin, you see. So
yes. So 1:55 to go. Remember last week we had 3 general recalls, then a black flag start. So we're, I think, about 50 minutes before we got a race away. So let's hope today will be a little bit better behaved by the fleet.
There's been some stern talking through the week, Pete.
I've got Smeg right down at the pin at the moment with 1.5 minutes to go. Tech 2 is in the middle of the line. Those two boats will be featuring today, no doubt, because it's a race in 2 for the championship. Some other boats will want to be stamping their mark on this fleet so they can get some good form going into the JJ Giltons in 2 weeks' time. So we're coming up to 1:10. There's this committee boat. We'll see that one red flag disappear with 1 minute to go, which is coming up in 1 second too. There it goes.
So how about this, Pete? Smeg and Tech 2 lined up, racked up together at the pin. Who would have thunk that?
Well,
and Noakes down there too, and they're kind of in 3rd place overall. Tech 2 and Smeg having a little fox with each other.
Smeg coming back on port and will tack above Tech 2. Winning group in the middle of the line will go back on starboard.
30 seconds.
Definitely 2 groups here, isn't it? The
yes.
big group at the pin, big group here with us at the boat still. So
Yandu, Ilvi, Yandu and Andu up here at the committee boat. I think John Winning likes to go right, so he's positioned himself to do that. 15 seconds to go. They're starting a few pedals going down. Right, there's a big gaggle of boats at the pin end. Here we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, Smeg looks close.
Smeg very close.
Smeg is over. It's just been called on the radio.
So it's individual.
Well done, race committee.
Individual, and it is Smeg. Oh.
That's not what you want.
This
Doesn't
stage
look like
he's
they're
not
back.
going back. Noakes got the pin with that white star insignia. Burden Bear behind him, reaching off. Tech 2 is above Noakes. And they're away they go on starboard. Lazarus first attack. Smeg has not come back. She's tacked and going across on port. But it's Noakes in the foreground. Above him, Tech 2. Going towards the Nielsen Park shore. Breeze up and down. Not a bad puff coming through the fleet now, Andrew. Just bottom right-hand corner, Burden Bear.
Yeah, Pete, good right-hander. So boats on port paying a fair old price to go on port. I think Noakes leads, Pete.
Yeah, Tech 2's just tacked. Noakes would lead the group that were at the pin.
Yeah, and Tech 2, I think, in second. Shore and Partners close also. Finport not too bad, and Winning Group not too bad either.
Yeah, nice breeze coming out of Rose Bay now. It's a pretty good runway looking up to the weather mark. That's Noakes. Noakes to the left in the foreground, Burden Bear to the right. Steering Burden Bear today, Brett Van Munster.
Come back for a bit of a training run before next Friday, maybe.
The guy that's done a lot of 18-foot and skiff sailing. So the fleet, some are going right. Tech 2 in the middle.
Have a look, Pete. Tech 2 Winning Group. There's the Tech 2's in front of Winning. Bow to bow. What do you reckon, Jimmy?
This is going to be close.
Yep.
I think Tech 2's got there.
Tech 2's across.
He's across, just across him. Yep.
Looks good here. The defending champion. Shore and Partners just coming behind them. Tech 2 will clear this group of starboard tackers quite easily. And we're confirmed that Smeg was over.
Yes, mate. Yep. I'll double check.
We'll just double check that. We don't want to get anyone's
Jessica,
hopes
this is
dashed
Camera Cat.
before we have to. But nice breeze now in Rose Bay.
Yeah. So, Pete, what we're seeing, direction actually pretty stable, isn't it?
Ripple side, Camera Cat.
Yeah, the breeze is up. Good
And-
10 knots here.
And a little cell, just little pulses coming out of the corner of Rose Bay.
Ripple side. This is the Camera Cat.
So the and the fleet all pressing to the right-hand side, Pete.
So the group going to the right is Smeg, as we look at it, Smeg, Lazarus, Kitchen Maker, Andu, and in the foreground, Tech 2. Smeg has tacked, coming back on starboard. Tech 2 will cross her clearly.
Pretty comfortably.
Yeah, Pete, I've just had it confirmed off the start boat that they've called Smeg as OCS.
She was the only one. Well, what a disappointment to the Smeg boys. They obviously didn't realise, they didn't go back, but their day is done and dusted really before it even started. But Smeg
Tough for them.
just behind Tech 2. Tech 2 will tack on her. There she goes. Not giving anything away.
Not giving anything at all there.
That's the polite version, Pete.
Well, we're polite fellows.
Correct.
There's a
Yes.
friendly powerboat going across.
Don't mention the war,
No.
Peter. Don't mention the war. But Pete, look up in front of where we are, and we're just dead upwind of Tech 2. Great right-handed puff coming out of Point Piper.
Well, I think Tech 2, is he committed to the left-hand side? He probably is he?
Well,
Smeg split off and gone. There's Kitchen Maker in the foreground, and above him,
and Noakes leading from the other side, in fact, Pete.
Tech 2, and Noakes coming off a pretty good one off Steel Point.
And Tech 2 now in this little puff here. He's now in the lee, effectively, of Clark, so he's got to make the call.
I think he's committed to the left now.
Yep.
While Smeg, Alf Screen, he's gone, I think, committing himself to the right.
So Tech 2 now in the next line of wind. He's clearly leading the race.
And will lead, I think. Although it's close with Noakes coming across, those port tackers coming across. Noakes,
Copy.
Burden Bear with the big red bear on the sail. And behind him is the Winning Group, also coming off port, on port tack. Nice pressure in Rose Bay. We're on Noakes, who's going to cross, I think.
Really? Amazing, isn't it? Big left-hander now. Noakes leads.
Noakes leads some good pressure. He's coming into. Yeah, good job, Sean Langman. The Burden Bear just tacked. There's Sean Langman on the Noakes. He will lead. A couple have gone hard right. They'll go to the right-hand side of the island. But Noakes in a nice streak of pressure here. There's the Bird. He's in the mix. At the moment, Noakes is on a bad one going back. He's about 10 degrees lower than Tech 2, is well to leeward of him.
And a nice little up-range puff, Pete.
Yeah, and I still think the boats that went to the right-hand side of the island may come out okay, but at the moment we're on Noakes. Noakes and Tech 2, the two leaders of the group that have gone left of Shark Island up into Rose Bay. What are we seeing in the sky? Telling us anything about the wind, Andrew? We're going to... Breeze will hold in, you'd think?
Yeah, the breeze will hold in. No, there's plenty of wind up high.
Yeah, Noakes has sagged right into Tech 2, and you think Tech 2, if he tacks, will be very close, if not across Noakes. The Burden Bear just tacked. Tech 2, here he goes. No, I think Noakes will still lead in this group.
Yeah.
He's got starboard tack advantage.
But Tech 2 will be pretty comfortable, Pete. Good squirt coming.
No, Tech 2 is going to push his hand and go across, and it's a good cross.
Yeah,
easy cross.
Yeah, it's an easy cross. Good job. Again, fine job by Jack McCartney and his team. Charlie Wyatt and Lewis Brake.
I was over the club during the week, and they were down there. How much pressure they put on themselves. They were doing trailer maintenance. That was their training for the day, was doing trailer maintenance.
It was good breeze here now.
But the right-hand group has struck, Pete. The Andu leads. The Andu leads.
The Andu.
Yep.
Yeah, Marcus Ashley Jones. He went right. That's what I said to go. Didn't I say to the right?
Sort of, Peter. The other
The other
or left?
right is
One
what
of
you
the other
said,
one.
Pete.
One of the,
We
one
got
of the
one
two.
back on him finally, Bucko.
Yeah, easy work. Taking candy from children.
Okay, that's a great drone shot here. Tech 2 in the foreground, but top left, behind the red sail, coming in on starboard, is Andu. He will lead. And that's Smeg just going behind the Burden Bear, reminding Smeg was over at the start, did not go back. So he'll be registered as OCS. Tech 2 is not far behind Andu.
No,
Here they come.
It is actually very close, Pete.
Very close.
Tech 2 might just be in front still. How about that?
Andu not quite on the starboard tack lay line. If he gets a little lift, he will.
No, he just crosses.
He's
Tech's ducking.
He's taken a duck. Tech 2.
Duck.
Andu will not lay at this stage.
But it's a starboard rounding, Pete, so
Oh,
he's happy.
starboard. Oh, sorry. Yes, correct.
He's happy.
My mistake.
He's in good nick there. Perfect amount of little distance to sail on port tack.
Yes, indeed. And then the big run down now after
And
they
it's
round.
pretty much BMG run with the direction we've got.
Yep. But don't get too far away because you'll have to come back into the wind.
Wow, Noakes has had a bit of a fall from grace, Pete. He's back. He's well back. Anyway, here we go. What's he sing? It's on screen, shit.
Andu will tack
Andu.
3, 2, 1. Can they come?
And Smeg made a bit of a comeback from the left side. Smeg's going to have to tack or duck Tech 2 now, so they've closed up. But Tech 2's going to get their second, actually reaching in, which is a...
Okay, Andu leads. Marcus Ashley Jones,
A little
Cam
bit
Gundy
strange,
and
but-
Geronimo Harrison.
How good a tack was that, Jimmy? Did you see?
Tech
Mate,
2.
They are seamless on Tech 2. Like
Fantastic. Right amount of jib back, spun the boat.
Smeg will be round third. The Bird next. Then the Winning Group.
Oh, there's a bit of a prang behind us between Lazarus and Noakes.
Oh dear.
Behind the camera boat. It's on,
yes,
it's
they're
on the
tangled
big
up.
screen, Chits.
As Finport and the Royal Oak go round. Winning Group just behind the Bird.
Oh, the Bird nearly in the tide.
Bird, yeah, close.
Oh, the Bird's got a bit on.
Got the tack lines out of the cleat, I'd
It's
suggest.
gone. Okay, Noakes has disentangled himself from Lazarus. He's around behind Finport. The Bird's just got the tack line back, but Winning Group rolls them.
So Winning Group, well, near the peloton, really.
So away we go. The big run down harbour to Robertson Point. Sky clearing. Lovely day on the harbour. Shaw and Partners on screen at the moment.
Today's sponsor.
Today's race sponsor indeed. They've been improving as this regatta has gone on. Jim Colley, Sean Connor and Harry Bethwaite. There's Noakes sailing. About two-thirds of the beat. Up the beat, Noakes sailing was leading, but she dropped right back to about 8th now. The Royal Oak, 4 Pine, just ahead of Noakes. Very nice sailing at the moment. Nothing too extreme.
Let's watch this lull here, Pete. Interesting
And there's
times.
a bit of a lull up off as they get further up to Point Piper. The leaders have sagged away a bit. Still on Shaw and Partner. You can see Yandu heading up for pressure with a red and blue oval.
So Winning Group, a little bit of a winner out of all that. Oh, the Bird and Bear struggling. Sorry,
Bird
viewers,
and
not
Bear,
on screen,
and just
but
behind him.
They got the worst out of that, the Bird and Bear. didn't they?
Birkenhead.
The Winning Group got out of that pretty well.
Anyway, now,
Reasonably light now, Andrew, this run.
yeah, but it's now,
Now Bird and Bear's back off in the puff.
a VMG contest, Pete, and Winning Group hasn't been good at this. Tech 2's been very good. Finport and
Finport got through there pretty
Bird,
unscathed, didn't they?
Yeah, Bird and Bear, the chasing pack. with-
How good's that for a shot on screen, boys? With the drone right up the back of Shaw and Partners.
Perfect.
That's a great shot. Indeed. They charge down the harbour.
But there will be some jibing to get to this mark, Pete. Not a lot, but it's a VMG run, so the guys have gone high here have more distance to sail.
Look at that on screen, boys. It's just perfect. It's a great perspective.
Yeah. So Andu leads, Marcus Ashley Jones, Cam Gundy and Geronimo Harrison. Quite a light crew. Cam Gundy, the only moderate heavyweight of that three.
Moderate.
Yeah.
Do I fall into the moderate category now, Bucko? I'm below the ton again?
You're back below the ton.
Yeah.
Tech 2 getting ready to pounce here.
Yeah, Tech 2 making good inroads.
There's the gap between Tech 2 and Andu.
Andu got an untidy looking spinnaker as well.
Tech 2, 3 strings coming to Andu. Andu hunting for a bit of pressure. He's just got the puff now that Tech 2 was in.
And Winning Group just behind the pack there, Pete, closing in. So is Finport.
Finport overall has gained though, James.
Okay, Andu's jibed.
not very neatly.
Not a little wobbly. Tech 2 takes his stern.
The winning group just behind us driving.
And I think we can see the mark down near the Cremorne Point Ferry Wharf, Pete.
Yeah.
Robertson's Point Ferry Wharf, yep. So the fleet all back on starboard with the...
Oh, Smeg.
Oh,
Smeg.
What happened there? The cocker fell off.
No, just
Into windward.
ran into
Oh, well, their day,
backwards.
if it wasn't done before, it's done now. Remembering that they were over the line at the start, just very unusual for those guys for that to happen.
Didn't actually see any cause, James, but
Well, they
It's
just
almost
jibed and
like
just sort of
jibed,
kept
they got
rolling
out
on
on
top
wire
of
and just
themselves.
went in. They had pressure and then just went in backwards.
big puff here.
We're on the winning
I'd
group.
say Tech 2 leads already, Pete.
He's got the bow down. And we're on the winning group. They're in clearly, not clearly, they'll be in third or fourth. The Bird and Bear, Brett Van Munster doing a fine job. Nice little pressure he's bringing down to the leading group.
So
There's Bird and Bear on screen with Brett Van Munster on it.
Joel Turner and Johnny Walton.
And that's a good crew on paper.
Yeah, and Brett Van Munster bringing, a bunch of experience to the task.
Yeah.
Just going behind the Bird and Bear, the blue spinnaker is Andu, has just jibed. Coming to him is Tech 2 on starboard. I think Andu will just be across,
Very close.
very close.
And
Yes,
who
he will.
lead?
He will lead. He's still not on the ley line, I don't think, to the mark. Tech 2 will
Pretty
extend
close.
a little bit further, I would imagine, before jibing. They're not far
Yeah.
off a jibe on the Tech 2.
Tech 2's been very accurate at this, Peter.
They have been very disciplined.
So
Here they go now. Andu is above the ley line.
And it's better in these boats to slightly overstand as in come into the mark a little bit high.
Yeah.
It does not pay to VNG run slowly. It just
But they
Doesn't-
don't like going
does not work.
square, do they?
So this will
Okay.
be interesting now.
Andu on starboard.
Tech 2 going to drop.
2.
Oh, they didn't get the tack line off too well.
Marcus is
Oh, he's going to force his
eyes
starboard
on one
right.
person, and then look who comes in the back door.
Yeah,
Winning
and
group.
open
Thanks
the gate
very
here
much.
and winning group will say thank you.
Well, that's all pretty problematic, isn't it? And a complete waste of time from Andu there, really. Just have a fight with Tech 2.
Yeah, it's not the bloke you really want to fight with.
I don't think so.
Okay, so Andu just getting the spinnaker down.
And a nice little squall
That's a beauty. They're a really good puff.
to greet them.
Finn Porter around next.
Finn Porter
Bird
into
and Bear,
third.
or Tech
Tech
2.
2. They kept their noses clean. That was the main thing for them. They're fourth. Then the Bird and Bear.
Tech 2's tidied up pretty neatly.
Oh, there's still a bit of yelling going on. I don't know what about.
The Bird and Bear's just got a bit of spinnaker in the water.
Oh, dear.
And it doesn't take much.
No,
as you
that
can see
will
there.
anchor you for a little bit.
Yeah. No, they're
Okay.
going again now. That's okay.
Okay, now next one in is Shaw and Partners, Red Spinnaker, to be followed by Lazarus.
I think Harry Bethwaite pulling that spinnaker down.
And then to lure to them with a white chute is Noakes Sailing.
And
And-
underlaid by a little too much.
And after that puff, there's not much here now at the leeward mark. Lucky to be 8 knots. A few more puffs coming down, but it's a fair way off. Oh, here goes Lazarus around. Just outside him is Birkenhead Marina, but coming round the front of them is Noakes. You'll see him come into shot now. There's Noakes.
Noakes actually got out of that pretty well, so
Yeah.
that's got them in front of the peloton more or less. Cleanly on a wind. And the next puff is coming from the
Lazarus,
left here.
the Royal Oak. Then Yandu.
Breeze gone left up in front of us. Ferry going through the fleet further upwind. Wouldn't be surprised to see Andu and Tech 2 get back on the port pretty promptly.
Yandu tax. Coming back into a bit of traffic, which will be
Noakes
Kitchen
Blue,
Maker,
Yvette.
Noakes Blue, Yvette, and the boys here. We'll be next around.
And Kitchen Maker, Caesar Stone.
Okay, they're good, they're tidy.
Tech 2's in front. Bree's gone a fair way left, just looking upwind. Looks like Tech 2 might have made a pretty solid going with Andrew on the left edge here.
He'll be going round, a little untidy, sitting down now. Vintech will follow him around, and then the last around will be Smeg after that capsize, the only boat to have capsized so far today. She's a long way back, but remembering she was over at the start. So really, barring something catastrophic to happen, which I don't know what will happen, is Tech 2 will probably be the champion. That's a great shot of Tech 2. He went left early, and now he's coming back, and you can see the streaks of wind coming down the course from that drone shot. Andu up to the top left, just come into a vein of pressure. Very light difference. Very light where Tech 2 is. Very light. Just coming into a bit now, but it's the angle difference, as you say, is massive.
So Tech 2 needs to step back to the left here. Winning group in front of Tech 2 now, but Andu leads the race probably.
I think winning group will be close. He's gone hard into the right-hand corner of the mouth of Rushcutters Bay, and he's coming back on a very good right-hander.
I told you the right would work, Peter, didn't I? Not really.
There's the winning group.
No, I think Andu still leads, Pete.
Yeah. Yes. Not much pressure in the winning group at the moment, but he's got a nice right-hander though.
Navy ship in the way here.
And Finport's come into the game too.
Yeah, he just kept it simple, went all the way to Garden Island and tacked and said, "Hello, boys."
Hello, boys.
Hello, there's Finport. Right in the action. Just got to go through the lee of this Navy vessel here.
Yeah.
He's got to get a bit squirrely for him, but he's got a little bit of pressure, or just stay.
No, he's okay. He's through.
And it's very tight at the top. Andu has tacked away from the winning group.
Finport's a chance here, guys.
There's just another little puff coming with him.
Winning group here.
Winning.
Little ferry coming through the
Winning
group will cross Finport.
They won't. They didn't want to take the risk.
No.
Or they said, let's tack on the face of this puff.
Yeah, Keegan did the Botany Bay Championship on a 16 on the sheet yesterday, so he might be a little tired come a bit later on.
And how did he go?
But he ended up fourth, I think. Yeah, they led for half the race, and then
So who's in the boat with him, Jimmy?
Bruce Savage and Jay Harris on red pumps.
A couple of blokes that can sail.
Yep.
But the Bird and Bears come right into it.
We did say big sails win big races, didn't we, Pete?
That's right.
Here we go. Tech 2's got stuck in the middle between the two slightly conflicting bits of pressure.
Well, it's very light now as they approach this mark up at Double Bay.
It's a game of find the wind for sure now.
Yeah, snakes and ladders here.
Going to have to duck.
So Bird and Bear just taking the stern of the winning group. And behind the winning group, out of sight, you'll see Andu coming into the picture on a good lefty with pressure. So he will lead.
Oh, Marcus has got that thing lit up today, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Lot of sailing left between here and the weather mark. Let me tell you, there's a lot of holes in this breeze. Look at Andu.
And a lot of puffs too, Pete.
A lot of puff, but Andu looking for pressure. Not there at the moment for him.
Copy.
Look at, and his Shore & Partners is getting into the mix here.
Yeah, but now the right's going to pay in the last bit of this beat, looking at the wind upwind of us. So God, it's one of those evil things, isn't
Scratch your head, toss a coin, and hope for the best.
it? Never had any problem in my day, though, Peter, you know.
No,
No, not at all. So this is the closest we've seen a top 6 for some time, isn't it?
Great race.
A blanket over Winning Group, Bird and Bear, Finport, Shore and Partners,
Tech 2.
and Tech 2. Amazing.
yeah, it's anyone's race.
But Tech 2's done sort of the worst, but one good puff can make a big difference.
And
here.
there's a nice puff coming out of Double Bay towards the fleet now.
Yeah.
Who gets it first and whether it's a lefty or a righty. Yeah, Tech 2 has dropped back somewhat. Shore and Partners taking the stern of Andu. And I think those two will be the first and second.
Yep.
Shore and Partners going into Clark Island. Hoping for a little bit of pressure and right hand down the side of the island.
It's a beautiful puff he's about to tack in, Pete.
Oh, there's some nice pressure between these boats and the weather mark now. Probably a good 8 or 9 knots, where they've been suffering about 6 knots.
Not far.
So, and it's a difficult mark to lay. Just Shore and Partners and those guys got as far as they can towards the island. They'll still have to do another little port tack.
That's Tech 2 coming in on starboard between the Winning Group and Finport. Go round behind Finport. So Finport was
Just wondering if
well up, but he's dropped back
For-
a little.
for once
It's a very
it's-
tricky beat.
do you think he's been a bit rattled at that bottom mark, like
Who's
Jack?
that?
Like very unlikely, but yeah, just
So Shore and Partners has just crossed Andu.
No, I mean, James, it's just a very difficult beat. And the difference between good and bad is one puff, as you as you'd
exactly.
be aware.
And
you
that
know.
was very shifty, as we've seen.
So who will lead? That's the question.
Shore and Partners going to lead,
Shore and
Pete.
Partners
Shore and Partners will... Oh, that's a good effort.
That is a good effort.
connect all the dots together.
They've joined the dots very well.
Right on the gas of Andu.
And Andu sort of mucked it up, haven't they?
Yes.
Just short of the lay.
They'll just squeeze around, I think. Oh,
Oh, good luck with that.
oh, it's ugly. No, they just got a puff at the right time.
Wow, but
Shore and Partners leads. Andu, oof, just got there.
and Winning Group nearly in a drink out of the tack, but just survived.
Okay, Tech 2 back to fourth.
Back
He's
to
never out of
fourth.
it, is he?
No, but that's a good comeback from them.
Winning Group 3. Tech 2 will be fourth.
And now Tech 2, and they've been terrific at deciding when to hoist and when not to hoist. Big puff, but they're probably going to hoist.
The only one that has hoisted so far is Shore and Partners.
Just let the
Everyone
puff
else is
go
all-
and see what happens. Yep.
Finport will be next, or Bird and Bear with him. Then Birkenhead Marina, another good effort. And then the Noakes Sailing. So Shore and Partners set, but they're not laying Bradley's head at the moment. No one else has set a shoot as this stage. Oh, Shore and Partners is off to the zoo.
Yep, it's a jib reach.
It is. They've messed that up.
We might go down with this group, guys. The next boat to probably be around will be Royal Oak, Four Pines, and then Yandu, and then the Kitchen Maker. But there's quite a gap back to that group.
So the reach now to Chowder Bay. At the moment it's just a main and jib reach. Breeze up and down, lucky to be 10 knots in the puffs and down as low as probably 6 or 7 in the lulls. Everyone's trying to get the bow up for pressure here. I don't think it'll be too long before we'll see a few spinnakers being popped out.
Well, Pete, they've got a clean lay into the mark. The mark's laid to windward of where the start line was, and just a well-judged pop, and then just get down in line. They'll know what the rough average jib reach angle is from the first part of the leg. Take the chute down, the bow goes up 30 degrees.
We're on Noakes Sailing and Birkenhead Marina. Crew looking out. There's a good little puff coming. Birkenhead Point Marina getting a good puff. No shoots appearing yet. Who's going to be first to push the button here?
Andu, I'd predict.
Bird and Bear from the right, then Finport. Tech 2 winning group to the left, and then furthest advance is Andu.
The other thing to note, Pete, is James Craig coming in, so that might dictate terms on not setting a shoot. It's basically on in the middle of the where they've got to head to, right at that mark at the moment.
Yeah, the big sailing ship, correct.
So Finport and Tech 2 and Winning Group using full riding moment all the time. Andu trying to fudge their way downwind. It does not usually work.
Come on, someone push the button here, Andrew. Who's it going to be?
Well, I want to bring back the flatty, Pete. I'd like to see a little wire loffer here, son.
No,
Snakes behind us has set the spinnaker.
And that might work as long as they can get their bow past.
Look at Tech 2. They've got great downwind speed, and here they come again.
Yeah, that has been working away at it, Pete. 3 springs.
Terrific technique.
Yep.
It's just been so impressive.
And Winning Group not doing too badly either.
No, down to leeward. They've done a fine job.
Winning Group's going to be the other side of the James Craig, which is a square rigger coming in under motor. Still makes a decent hole in the wind, but Winning Group look as if they've got enough depth to get to the bottom mark without hoisting at all. And that was partly determined by the good puff they went around the windward mark in.
Yeah, Winning Group will be above the James Craig, I think.
No, to leeward, Pete.
Are they leeward?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
That'll cause them a bit of grief.
And they're close to it.
But,
Yeah, they are well to leeward of it.
yep.
Yep, and Shore and Partners as well.
So remember, Shore and Partners led at the weather mark at Double Bay. They set the spinnaker and they really careered off to leeward of Bradley's Head. They had to drop and come back up again, so they're still in touch.
So Tech 2 mustn't be far off hoisting here.
Winning Group scooting down to leeward there on a
Yep.
more direct line.
Here goes Tech 2, Bucko.
Yep.
And Finport behind us. Bird, Bear are going for it. Andu's going
They're
for
all hoisting, and Tech 2's got a little
Oh,
problem.
the tack line, there they go. Andu, good set. Tech 2 just getting it set now.
And Winning Group going to 2 sail. So Winning Group's going to lead here. Very nice bit of sailing from them.
So round this leeward mark, then up to Rose Bay.
A beat up to the same mark as the first one.
Yep.
And then a VMG run back down.
Winning Group, no spinnaker. The 2 other boats booming in with spinnakers. Will they set
Yeah,
the Winning
no.
Group? They've only got about 100 metres to go or less.
Winning Group trying to fudge it without one now.
Oh, they're struggling, aren't they, for pressure? These other 2 boats are going to roll over them, I think. Oh, it's going to be very close. They're just getting a
Well,
bit
Tech
of
2's
pressure
going to
now.
do a full jibe and in.
Yes.
So, and Andu might lead out of all that.
Look at Winning Group. He's got to put the bow right up. Oh, he's going to have to do 2 jibes without a spinnaker. Shore and Partners have
He's in the control
gathered a bit of
position
momentum.
there, which is good.
And that's not the end of the earth, Pete. 2 jibes without a
No,
spinnaker.
no. Even
No.
you could do that.
Well, a tornado used to jibe downwind like that, as you're well aware. Tech 2 back in the hunt, though.
No, there's no doubt about him. He's never far away.
And Winning Group's going to get buoy room, but Andu's not.
Oh,
So
Shore
Winning-
and Partners here. This is
Tech 2 has to get going.
oh,
Oh, goodness.
jibe drop.
Not bad, though, Pete.
Pressure on the crew.
Quite day out here, isn't it?
Wow.
Andu, they're around Shore and Partners, just nibbling inside them.
Plenty-
Finport there. Oh, it's soft here.
Plenty of dirty air.
Absolutely.
Tech 2 gets their bow clean, off they go. How about that? Wow.
The Bird coming round. Finport.
And the Bird pretty, not too bad either.
Yeah, he's got clear air. Just Finport sneaking around. And then Birkenhead Point Marina. The big loser there was Noakes sailing. He set the chute before anyone and went careering down into Taylor Bay. And he's now got a long way to come out from Leeward. So he will be next around. He's just main and jib reaching in.
And Birkenhead Point Marina handled that leg okay too.
Yes, they did.
They did really well down there.
Yeah, the fleet off on starboard.
Yandu.
He's
John
got
winning.
2 jibes and in, but coming round will be the Noakes sailing.
So just with the retrospective shot there, Pete, Tech 2 delayed their set a little bit too long, but the breeze is so volatile, it's a very tough call to make. In everybody's defence here, we've seen bits of 14 knots on that run and bits of probably not even 8, yeah? So the angles change a lot, aside of the wind shift element.
Yandu an early jibe to get in front of Birkenhead.
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Remember, you can hit the mark in the 18 footers, you can kiss the mark, and you don't have to take any penalty. Just can't take it with you.
But don't leave home without it, on the other hand.
There's a nice cruising boat going across the fleet here.
The kitchen maker, Caesar Stone, in next. See, Darren was out on the JBW with all the other sponsors today.
And the breeze in the right, a little puff from the right. 12, perhaps a little bit more, 12 knots.
Yeah, nice job, kitchen
not
maker,
too
tidy.
bad.
Noakes Blue get the job done. Oh, it's a big right-hander. Look at that as they went round, and kitchen maker. And in the background, Smeg.
Everybody too scared to go on port tack, so that tells you something. Looking upwind, there's a bit more wind coming, a little brown cloud. Usually indicates it's going to turn right and build.
So if you've just joined us...
I'll tell you what, Pete, Birkenhead's close to the lead.
Yes. Smeg was over at the start, and then they had a capsize on the Spinnaker run to Robertson Point, the first Spinnaker run. They went into windward. So while they were vying for the championship, the only one that could unseat Tech 2, their day is over, but the boats have gone round this market, Chowder Bay, and all have stood into Nielsen Park, with the exception of a Birkenhead Point Marina and a couple that have gone right. But it looks like the winning group and Tech 2 will be probably the leaders.
But we predicted gain, Peter, to the guys that have gone right here to some degree. Yeah, they're low left at the moment, coming off Nielsen.
Good pressure, though, at the moment.
Absolutely. Just watch this cross closely. Shaw and Partners.
Okay, it's still a close contest. Winning leads, Tech 2, Shaw and Partners third. They're the race sponsors of today. They've been right in the hunt the whole race. Good 9 to 10 knots, perhaps 11 knots at the moment on the two leaders, winning group and Tech 2.
Anyway, Tech 2 doesn't have to be too concerned here. Anything near the front of the fleet secures them the title. Well, they just got to get around, really. But all the crews working hard on boat speed leading up to the Giltmans in 2 weeks' time. So good training gallop this one now for Tech 2, and winning group have been putting all their effort into that over the last few weeks.
There you go. Herman's pretty happy. Just gave us a
and
little wave.
Yeah, and not being too concerned about their actual placings in the races.
Geez, that boom is low on that boat, isn't it, Bucko?
Yep. The aero model says that's good, but the crew disagrees a bit, you know. So Pete, Winning Group stretched out there by standing to the right. At this moment, anyway.
As you say, John Winning Jr. has been a bit worried about his speed, and he's been working hard. I saw him out midweek. Look at his sails, working on his boat speed, and obviously ramped it up today. And they look as though they've done a pretty clinical job at the moment.
You know, they've sailed very well. And back at full strength with the regulation lineup, you know, with Sev back in the middle. It's a big deal. Breeze building a little more here.
We're about 2/3 of the work up to Rose Bay, and then there's a long VMG run back to Taylor Bay, and then another beat to Rose Bay, Spinnaker run to Robertson, then the short beat to the finish. But it's still tricky. In pressure now, Yandu. Tech 2 coming off the shore. You'll see him in a moment.
Tech 2 will enjoy this uprange bit here, Pete. Loose cover from Winning Group. Wow, still to play for.
This is great racing, the front here today, isn't it, with everyone?
Yeah, no. Everybody's got their game faces on finally.
We've gone into Shark Island as Shore and Partners. They're not out of it. You'll see them shortly come across the bow of Yandu in the Winning Group in the distance.
But
Winning Group, Tech 2 and Andu not going back on anything super. Shore and Partners can come off on a little righty. They could easily lead the fleet. There he goes, Shore and Partners. I think he'll be across Tech 2. He won't be across the Winning Group.
Winning Group's
on fire.
No, he's on the right side of that next puff though, James.
Yeah, the Winning Group now starting to lift. Shore and Partners will cross Tech 2.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Or will he? He's on starboard tack advantage.
He will just, yep.
Yeah, Tech 2 just taking a dip.
These boats are just noticed, all sponsored by Vycobi as well. So, g'day Pat and the team at Vycobi.
Pretty decent little yacht race, Shipway.
It is terrific. As we've seen all series, really. I mean, normally it's Tech 2 and Smeg being fighting it out, but a few others have put their hat in the ring. But today, Winning Group, Shore and Partners, Andu, Birkenhead Point Marina are all, Finport are all amongst it. Oh, nice little squirrely squall here.
Well, a bit of 14 knots just coming out of the corner of Rose Bay here. Better get the flattening reef in, Chips.
Yes, looks a bit right too, I think.
A bit right and a bit cold and a bit windy all of a sudden.
Yeah. So that's the best puff of the day we're in at the moment.
Frank Hyde, absolutely. Fantastic.
Well, the Winning Group doing a fine job. They've got good speed upwind. Excellent speed.
Well, big Sev swinging it down. He's not little Sev anymore, is he?
You can say it, Bucko, because you haven't put on an ounce of weight since when you sailed.
Oh, Sev's in a good paddock, I reckon.
The Greyhound.
So, in the middle on port is Finport.
And they've made up some ground.
Shore and Partners, yep. Shore and Partners going behind Tech 2.
Tech 2 with full mainsail flog there, which indicates
Finport
16 knots
behind Tech 2 at the Shore and Partners foreground. And Winning Group will lead.
So he's on the lay. He's tacked on the port tack lay line. Some nice pressure. You can see it on screen there coming out of Rose Bay. Winning Group coming into it now. And Interesting. Looks like a jibe set to me. If we could manage that, Pete, could we?
They've just got to watch a couple of
Oh,
kayakers right at the mark.
Are we
They're
set
gonna-
up for that, mate?
yes, we are. Anything you like, I can do.
Anything you like.
They've got really good pressure here. This is best of the day. They've just cracked sheets.
I think these kayakers
The
might
winning
be in for a
group.
bit of a shock, but anyway.
Okay, nice lead to the winning group. Round they go.
Paddle faster, mate. I hear banjos, these two people.
Okay,
So Shaw and Partners on starboard, Tech 2 on port.
good set, the winning group. They're running away in a nice little puff. Shaw and Partners will be second.
Yeah, they just
Not a great tack, but they just tacked on the gas of Tech 2.
Finport might get into the mix here. No, just not quite.
No.
Fourth.
So there's Shaw and Partners.
Tech 2 just
Tech
across
2.
Finport, not by much.
So that was a great beat, Vote. The winning group did a fine job on that beat. Finport will be fourth. Oh, Tech 2 doing what you said, Andrew. Jibe set.
Yep.
Andu will be fifth.
Not sure it matters
Winning
that much,
group
but
go on the other side
yep.
of the island.
So winning group leads by about 30 seconds. And Noakes group won't be too happy with this little spot that they've got themselves, will they? One,
You want to
two,
come with us, Dylan, and we'll
three,
run down? Get away from him?
Yeah, Noakes sailing next.
4, 6. 6 for Noakes. That's still probably good enough to get them third overall. But not what they were looking for in terms of performance improvement.
Birkenhead Point next. Birkenhead Point Marina.
And they'd be sort of happy with 7th. That's one of their better races. Showing steady improvement, however.
Interesting to see Tech 2 seems to be the only one to go the other side of the island. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Jones, interesting, you know, going through the lee of Point Piper might not be the best answer, mate. Tech 2 looks like they're on the ley line, but not on screen, but out to the right.
Yeah, what's the scenario? All the fleet have gone to the western side of Shark Island, with the exception of Tech 2 at the moment, who's going down the eastern side. Bird and Bear in the distance is doing the same, but we're on Noakes, Shark Island in the background. Wow, it's a massive split between first, second and third. In far as direction's concerned. There's the winning group, just, you can see way in the distance on the ferry, just jibed onto starboard to go into the mark down at Taylor Bay. Shaw and Partners has jibed also. White Spinnaker is Finport. You will not see Tech 2 yet. It's coming down on port. Remember, he went the other side of Shark Island. Will it pay or will it not? I'd say at the moment winning group still leads by a fair bit. On Andu there, they've jibed.
Winning group a bit hot down on
Yeah,
the...
have they overlaid?
Down
They
on the
look
ley
at-
line.
They have. There's
Yeah.
3 strings and a bit more if they can throw it at it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether they thought they were going to Robertson Point.
No, they knew what they were doing. But he's right down on that spit post. But
They've got a hole of their spinnaker.
Shaw and Partners on the left.
cruising boat in the way.
So winning group leads with a White Spinnaker. Shaw and Partners. But Tech 2 look as though they could have got themselves into second spot here. You'll see them shortly.
Peter, I think he might change the could have
To have.
to have.
He comes across on screen.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice, but that's a 6 boat length gain, so that's good enough. Yep, and nice, easy jibe for them into the bottom lay line. Shaw and Partners 2 more jibes, and these guys get to have a look at Winning Group and go, we know where far enough is. Winning Group couldn't get there despite having pressed in hard against the Cardinal mark up on the headland. So another points win to Tech 2 here.
Early drop by the Winning Group.
Yeah, and a bit of a casual sort of.
Yep. They'll be
just too saily, and
they'll be tidy. They'll jibe, and
how good is that jibe on the Tech 2,
That's
Pete?
perfect.
Impressive.
It's been a class act.
My goodness gracious me.
This leading 4 have really opened out. The Winning Group, Tech 2, Shaw and Partners, and Finport. Then a long gap then to the Blue Spinnaker of Andu. Here comes Tech 2. They did that pretty nicely.
Wow, Tech 2 pressing their luck on the drop. 3 boat lengths was all they were from the mark, and they've got it done. My goodness. Wow, it's close enough to down, mate.
Yeah. Oh, Finport's soft. It's quite soft again here.
Finport square running, but they're going to
Yes.
probably get in front of Shaw and Partners here.
They've
They've
got
got to
the-
give them room.
Shaw and Partners will get in third.
Keegan giving Harry Bethwaite, the forward end on board Shaw and Partners, some encouragement.
The skipper of Finport giving the bowman on Shaw and Partners a bit of help.
Unlike Keegan being quiet.
That's right. Well, that doesn't help either boat because they're untidy, too tight a turn. Finport, though, can look upwind and see the first puff coming from the right and maybe have a little play. There he goes.
Andu
He's
now with the
listening
Blue
to you.
Spinnaker. She'll be 5th. It's pretty light here again.
Yep.
Breeze has gone left by the look of some of these boats coming down here.
Well, it's light in the middle, and Tech 2, sorry viewers, further up the track, just coming into shot, stepping out to the right also. So
Yep, he's got nothing to lose, Tech 2.
No,
The
he
championship is his.
that's right, exactly. And he's looking at that right-hand bit of wind and going, that'll do me. See if we can get back in front of Winning Group.
Here comes the Noakes boys. Next around.
So the usual compelling ley line problems into this mark, James.
Yes.
Never changes, does it?
The Oak 4 Pines
It is
next.
untidy and difficult. But a good challenge.
The Royal
And,
Oak 4 Pines.
And they're having one of their worst races of the whole year.
After them, Birkenhead Point Marina just dropped the Black Spinnaker, White Spinnaker, Bird and Bear. He dropped back a fair bit. He was
Yeah.
in the mix up that beat for a while.
I think there might have been, oh no, not riding lever action, but some problem. Birkenhead haven't had a good run either.
White Spinnaker, the kitchen maker.
And behind them, Smeg.
Yandu coming in hot.
Yandu.
And putting some pressure on the young bowman.
The Mighty Burger.
He's got enough room for a nice jibe drop, but coming with some pressure.
Plenty of room for the
He's
Burger.
a bit,
Oh, no.
he's a bit early. He's a bit early. My goodness, he loves running by the lead, doesn't he? He's going to go in the tide here if he's not careful. All the speed off.
Oh, it's
Oh, it's a dearie me.
Never in doubt. Look at
well, the old campaigner. He got it done somehow. It's half done.
that. How? I've got no idea.
A good puff coming at next bat round is Smeg.
We might, and Smeg nearly in the tide on this puff.
Oh, the halyard looks caught on Yandu. The Spinnaker now coming down. Now Smeg, remembering, had that costly capsize after that costly mistake at the start line when he was over the line. The only boat that was recalled. And the Blue Spinnaker with the white insignia is Noakes Blue.
Vet Heritage, Rory Cox and Oliver Scott Maggie. So they've had the same bodies in the boat for a couple of weeks in a row. See if they can improve on this, but they haven't had a good day today. They didn't get out of the start at all.
No.
And it's tough. Behind the whole peloton is a tough place to be.
It's a tough day even if you're in front, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
right.
It's just one of those squirrely southeasters with
Might
breeze
mosey on up through
in
the
and
fleet.
out. Pressure up and down.
Tell you whose birthday it was today. It was Katie Love. Remember Katie used to sell the 18s?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy birthday to her. There's Smeg on screen that Pete was alluding to. Not the greatest day for those boys, unfortunately.
So Pete, some of these boys hard right. Not mucking around to Andu looking in the distance. My goodness.
There's good breeze in the right. So it's just this beat up to Rose Bay again, and then the long run down to Robertson Point, which will be the leeward mark, and then back to the finish off Double Bay. We're on Yandu.
His setup looks good. Just got a bit more luff sag in the jib than most of the fleet, so his rig tension might be set up a little softer. Everything looks all in good order though.
Shaw and Partners in the tide, just in the background.
Oh yes, just see the red channel marker there. Shaw and Partners just getting himself.
And that was a caused by the ferry.
Oh, it's got
dirty air. That's a
Poor boys.
disappointing for them. Noakes also having a bit of trouble.
The infamous Manly Ferry Lee. Oh dear. Well, their day is
Meg's
done
got
and
a
dusted.
problem with the powerboat behind us.
From the Oaks Four Pine. All the fleet have gone to the right-hand side or the western side of Shark Island. There's no one gone the other way. The breeze has gone right. Winning group leads. Just see Noakes sailing going across on port in towards Point Piper. He's come back into this a bit, Noakes sailing. He's got good speed. Upwind.
Yeah, he's not that quick downhill though, is he?
No. I'm wrong there. Finport's gone to the left-hand side of the island looking upwind.
That's right.
Need binoculars to see him almost from here, Pete.
Yeah, he's a long way in the distance.
But Noakes comfortably in front of Andu. Andu got into the lee of Point Piper on the right edge, paid the price.
Noakes sailing.
Tacking in a nice puff. So you'd think that they're fourth at this point, Noakes sailing. So they've gained 2 places. One because Shaw and Partners tipped over, and the other one because Andu went a little too far right.
Or just panning across to the right now. That's Tech 2.
And Winning Group.
Winning Group is a
look like
long
they've-
way ahead now.
Looks like a minute and a half or thereabouts.
Spray you can see a bit on Tech 2 as the spray from a seaplane taking off to windward of him. And just in the distance you might just see Finport over the top of the island. Just can't quite see him now. You just go, there he is, there's Finport. He's gone the other side of Shark Island. So he will probably be he'll be third, I think, Finport. But Winning Group have shown outstanding speed coming up here to Windward. That augurs well for them, Andrew, for the JJs to come in good at the right time.
Well, having the same three blokes in the boat and the number one combination in the boat would be pretty useful also, wouldn't it? So a bit of the coordination and the teamwork and a bit of work on the speed, and that's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah, they'd be more than happy with it. Long way to go.
Yep.
No guarantees for anything out here, but at the moment you'd have to say that they've improved their speed in a big sail breeze today. They're about 80 metres or so from the turning mark in Rose Bay. Starboard rounding. And they will hold a commanding lead. Just getting a nice right-handed lift here and a little bit of pressure. Short tack in on port. The way they go.
Yep. Plenty of powerboat wash around here. There could be a little bit of danger on the Barroway, Pete.
I think they'll be all right.
Ah, they'll be right.
We'll be right.
Good pressure to come away with.
Big puff here, guys.
They'll be right. No problems. Famous last words.
Yeah,
Whoa. Famous.
Yeah.
Going for the hoist immediately.
Dylan? Winning Group?
Tech 2 will be second.
And a big tear in the spinnaker on Winning Group.
Oh, they have too, right down at the tack. See that in a moment.
In what's known as the high load area. It's a window.
Tech 2 setting up on the ley line. Behind them, short, just to weather is Finport. And Noakes Sailing will come into fourth, I think. Just close with Andu, but I think Noakes will be fourth. Okay, we're on the Winning Group. The big run down towards Robertson Point.
What
Mossman area.
What a spectacular view that is there, or was, back when we had Winning Group there.
Yeah.
Chits, you did it to me again. Here's Tech 2 rounding.
So about 50 seconds.
Absolute model of consistency.
How polished
With this
is
whole
that?
regatta.
Yep.
Always there or thereabouts. Here comes Finport coming into shot.
And Finport brought some wave with them as well.
Yeah, she's going to be surfing. Whooshka. Away we go, boys. Oh.
God, if they just stood on the spinnaker sheet, it would have been a perfect hoist.
Noakes will be fourth. They've done another good job up the last couple of beats. Got back themselves right back into the top half dozen.
They've been, I mean, I think, Josh's influence there is to make them sail a little more conservatively. Tech 2 in front of us having to rag the chute to get over the top of a starboard tacker coming upwind. Yeah, Tech 2 versus Kitchen Maker.
Get out of the washing machine. On the Finport there on screen.
Currently in third spot.
Yep.
This is their best race for some time as well. But they do enjoy it when it's up range. It's one of those things.
Well, remember last week they were having a great race until they had that huge swim, and they broke the dolphin striker. The bow pole didn't break, so that was pretty relatively easy fix, but it's not a fix you can do out here on the water, is it?
Bow pole broken by object in human form striking.
Then look right above Tech 2 there with the drone. Pretty nice, isn't it, Pete?
Great shot of the defending Australian 18-foot skiff champions, and looks as though they'll be the champions again for this year. Jack McCartney, his crew, Lewis Blake and Charlie Wyatt, worthy champions indeed. A bit more breeze coming, sky getting a bit more overcast.
The winning group way off in the distance.
So this is now a VMG run. Winning group have jibed onto starboard. You can see them now. And they would be a good minute or so ahead of Tech 2.
Really opening up. How much, Bucko, how much effect would that tear in the spinnaker have at the moment for them, like loss of air or flow?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's wouldn't be much.
Not much?
No, not much. Their biggest concern is that it could propagate. It is quite a high load area, but not all that much lift being generated around down that low.
We'll get a good look at that tear in a moment once they jibe. Right down at the bow, there it is at the tack. See a bit of sailcloth just hanging loose.
I think that might be a bit hot into the bow of this vessel here.
They look as though, it's hard to see on camera, they look as though they've got some new panels in that spinnaker, have they?
There's a composite sail, two different fabrics.
Okay, they're full noise getting round the bow of this sea deck.
Did I say a little hot, Pete? Yeah.
A little hot, yeah.
Wow.
Never in doubt.
But the sea deck is stationary at anchor on the ley line, so I suppose that's what happens.
No, they've done a fine job today. John Winning, Sam Newton and Sevi Jarvan. Got their nose in front and just kept on keeping on.
Yeah. Nice lay in here.
This is the final mark, and then they've got the beat from here, which is off the point, Gramorn Point, and then they up to the finish at Clark Island Double Bay area. Crew in, tidying up, make sure the halyard's okay. There goes, tack line off. Nice conservative drop, under no pressure whatsoever.
Bucko, what would you like to do?
Take two.
Okay, winning group round and clean. Tech 2 coming in will be next with the red spinnaker. Just to the right of him with the white is Finport. Noakes sailing going across on starboard, just jibing now with the white chute. Then the blue spinnaker of Andu.
So winning group stretched out a bit on that, right?
They have, absolutely.
Everyone will be cutting a hole in the front of their spinnaker.
That's right.
The old Venturi factor.
Yeah, back when Shipway was a lad, they had spinnakers with vents in them.
Just get the pole back. Okay, Tech 2.
Tech 2. Conservative drop. Good
Yep.
show.
Again, no pressure. The title is theirs.
Yep. Finport making life awkward with a just short of the lay. We got that? Yeah, we have. So, say 120, Pete, is the margin. So, it's about 20 seconds that Winning Group took away from them on the run.
That is a very, very comfortable lead. Tech 2 around now.
But they didn't need to actually exert themselves, did they?
No. But, Finport just a little bit squirreled up here.
That's sort of the battle for third there, isn't it, in a certain sense, isn't it? Not quite.
Spinnaker under the BO.
Okay, then Noakes is fourth. Blue Spinnaker, late drop on the Andu. He's got a bit of work to do, those boys.
And then Four Pines has come back inward.
Yes.
And Bird and Bear hanging in there.
Okay, we're on Tech 2. They're on their way to the finish. They're on the way to victory in the Australian 18-foot skiff titles. Today's race brought to you by Shaw and Partners. Say hello to all our friends watching around the world.
And all our other lovely sponsors that are out on the JBW today, Pete.
Yes, they were getting their money's worth.
Yep.
A bit disappointing for Shaw and Partners with that costly capsize. They've shown enough to know that they'll be in the mix for the JJ Giltland, which is starting in 2 weeks' time. There's an iconic shot, a Sydney 18-footer, Harbour Bridge and the Opera House.
And Fort Denison as well.
Can't do much better than that. All we need is a Manly ferry. But
we don't need any more
We don't need the Manly ferries
at this moment, Peter.
Cheerio to our friends, as I said, watching. Had a call from the United States of America during the week, Bucko, from one of the great ocean racing sailors, Jeff Stagg.
Staggy.
Double Hobart winner. He was watching from Annapolis. He said it wasn't too warm over there at the moment, but he was enjoying the coverage. So it knows this live stream going out to a lot of people. Brought to you by Sail Media. And we're just watching the champion going in towards Garden Island.
On a parade leg, I think we'd call this, wouldn't we?
Yes, it is, yep.
You've done a few of them in your time, Bugger.
Hey?
You've done quite a few of them in your time.
It's like coming into Paris as the leader of the Tour de France, waving the bottles of champagne.
Yeah, 21 days on the push bike's a bit long for me though, Pete, I'm afraid. Don't mind the champagne.
Okay, here they go.
Nice.
Second on the water behind the winning group.
Jack just lost his lucky cap. Hopefully that.
Well, you think he might go back for it? He's got enough up his sleeve.
Yeah. Certainly slight continuing building pressure here.
A little bit version in the main, but otherwise all good.
Take a lead one.
Stay with these guys. These are the Australian champions.
Winning group are well on their way to winning this race. By how much did they lead around that bottom mark, Bucko?
About a minute 20, I think it was.
Yeah, 120.
So I think they've extended their lead from here, like just staying with the soon-to-be crowned champions for the up this work. I'm sure Herman won't mind.
The Tech 2 might have just a modicum of cruise control. The
winning group. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes to go to the finish. They're just up off Clark Island. Tech 2 are doing it pretty easy here in second spot. The breeze still holding, it's still patchy. See 3 strings on the Tech 2. They've had plenty of pressure all this beat.
Yeah, and I think they'll just be keeping it pretty straightforward here, Pete. Out to the Port Tack lane line at 1 and in.
Yeah, 1 and in.
Jack looking back at the guys behind.
Yeah.
There we are on winning group, going to the finish.
Laying up into towards the finishing line. They're just short of the lay line at the moment.
I didn't like the look of the lot. They're in the middle of a nice puff, so they've tacked in the puff. Fair enough.
That's the committee boat, top left of screen, the big spectator ferry, the
Royale.
red and yellow Royale. Couple more tacks and the race is theirs. So they've come good, perhaps at the right time, leading into the Giltons, and it augurs well for more exciting racing, which we've seen this whole series. But here's Tech 2. They will finish second today.
Group just about to cross.
He's got to get on the other tack first.
Yeah,
Jones.
Yeah, there's the finishing mark, the checkered finishing mark. Final tack in.
5, 4, 10. About now.
There they are.
Sam, well done. Well done to the
Yeah,
winning
terrific
group.
performance by John Winnings, Sam Newton and Sevi Jarvan to win the final heat of the titles.
Good one to win to give you some optimism for the next major events.
Tech 2, clear defence of his title. He will finish with 5 wins, a second, 2 seconds and a 4th and a 5th. Well, that's a pretty good scorecard. He'll drop the 5th. Drop your worst performance.
Good line of puff. And they're laying through nicely.
Yeah, they've probably closed up a little on that beat. Just didn't do too many tacks, just did a long starboard tack off Garden Island, a couple more shorteners up, and here he comes now to the line. The champion, and well deserved. 1, 2, 3, and now. There he is, the Australian champion, Tech 2. Well done, boys. Fantastic performance.
Jack McCartney, Charlie White, Lewis Brake. What a combination.
Going to get the bottle of champagne.
And a ribbon, surely, Peter.
The ribbon's the most important part.
Yeah.
Looks like they've got the ribbon there. Oh, poor Jess just gets a big tiller on the head.
Well, we can't speak highly enough of them, I don't think. The performance they've put in the whole series, a model of consistency in all wind strengths, all sail combinations. They've rarely made a mistake. And I think they will stamp their authority now as the clear favourite for the JJ Giltons, but that's no guarantee of victory. But at the moment, you'd have to say that the boat that beats them will be pretty close to the leader of the JJ Giltons.
Oh, how long does it take to open a bottle of champagne?
Out of practice, obviously. They need a bit of help, I think.
It's probably warm.
Yeah.
So,
Charlie getting back on. It's all good. So, Pete, cast your mind back. Did they get on the centreboard during the Australian Championship?
no.
No. So they will be the only boat in the fleet that managed that. And their form, if you would recall, in the lead-up races when it was up
Oh,
rain.
he's just dropped the champagne.
Oh, that's
After
life.
all that.
Out of practice, like I said. He's only a young fella. Wow.
Look out. We're going to get speared here in a moment. Yeah. Boats going everywhere. Meanwhile, back at the race course, see what's happening. We've got
Andu's across the line, I know that much.
Andu. Where did he come from?
Yeah.
Did he get third?
Andu, Marcus.
Andu.
Oh, he went hard left. He went
it's-
hard left.
And
There
it's
we go, this for a tight finish with all this.
scramble up to third. And now we're looking at fourth. Oh, man. Finport's going to get it. No, maybe Royal Oak.
Oh, the Royal Oak.
Royal Oak, then Finport.
Oh, then Noakes. Gee, this is a great race for fourth. Oh, Shaw and Partners just miss out. A good effort by Andu.
Wow, the peloton. Well, the front part of the peloton. Unbelievable. And Smeg,
Shaw and Partners after a swim. That's a really good effort.
That's a good
guys.
effort. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, they were kind of just in front of that bunch, weren't they, before the swim? So that was their...
Yeah, well, remember they broke away and they were sort of
Yeah, that was their
hammering
class.
it up with Tech 2, and then the swim obviously cost them and dropped them back. And
Yeah, it was a tough old beat, but Andu did that last beat very well.
Yep.
And Finport were in the mix, and Shaw and Partners.
Oh, Pete, the breeze lifted off and went back to the left, so...
Just watching Smeg and Yandu come in.
Not an easy day. Look
No,
at
Yandu, look at
look at
Yandu,
the
he's
split here.
30 degrees higher than Smeg.
They're back in the right a bit
Oh,
for Yandu.
dear.
And Smeg nearly in the tide of
Both
attack.
pointing in the same direction on different tacks, but Yandu trying to get across on starboard.
Yandu's
He's-
going to cross him.
There's very little wind. Oh, look at the kitchen maker screaming in.
On bit of high left, but there's a lull right at the line. So that should serve Yandu quite well. He's going to attack.
oh,
No, he's just
No,
got...
as kitchen maker runs out of it, it'll be
No, Yandu.
Yandu.
beat him.
dude, then the kitchen maker.
kitchen maker.
Wow.
Yeah.
To-
And Smeg next. And
he
Noakes Blue coming up like a
Noakes
bolt.
Blue. They're going to beat. Oh, they won't beat Smeg. They'll come into the shot in a moment. Smeg with no wind, just waddling across the line, but and no hooter.
So that
So
does confirm
that
the
they were over.
OCS.
They probably did. They realise beforehand? Who knows? Noakes Blue, and then Birkenhead Point. Well, they dropped back.
I think they might have had a visit to the riding lever, Pete,
Yes.
that we didn't see, perhaps.
So another great race and full marks today to the winning group, John Winning Jr. But the champagne today for Tech 2, the Australian champions, Jack McCartney, Charlie White and Lewis Blake. They will win the championship quite clearly from Smeg. Noakes Sailing will be third overall, and I would think Shaw and Partners will stay fourth. Or maybe Winning Group might jump up there. They will probably, yes, Winning Group will probably move into fourth.
That's correct, Pete.
So that, as Birkenhead Point Marina goes over the line. So look, I think we've seen a great series, 9 races. Tech 2, a worthy champion. Smeg, probably a worthy runner-up.
Pete, worthy champion indeed. When you win more than half the races, you deserve the chocolates. There's no doubt about that at all, is there? and they've won in strong wind and light air. There's some tiny question mark about their bottom range performance, and we are anticipating the possibility with the La Nina still operating pretty strongly of lighter air for the Giltinan. That aside, they're strong favourites.
So you're predicting light winds 2 weeks out?
Yeah, I'm good like that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I forgot something quite dramatic today. What was the water temperature off Coffs Harbour today, Bucko? A lot of people are ringing in, want to know what the water temperature was.
Approximately 27 to 28. That's pretty warm, Pete.
That is indeed. Okay, well, that's the end today. The Australian Championship done and dusted. Tech 2, the worthy winners from Smeg and Noakes Sailing. On behalf of James Bury, our technical guys led by Chits, Andrew Buckland. We're back next week for a championship race, and then we get into the big stuff in 2 weeks' time, the JJ Giltinan titles, 7-race series over 2 weekends and midweek races. So we're bringing that all to you by Sail Media. And we say thank you for watching. I'm Peter Shipway. We look forward to your company next week.